In this video, I'm going to talk about what it looks like to take an exam in my course in ProctorU Record Plus. Before watching this video, make sure that you have watched the video about accessing Record Plus through Canvas. So that is, you open the Guardian browser, you go to the quiz in Canvas, you do all the things like verify your identity, the access code gets entered. All of this stuff is in a separate video. This video is talking about once you actually get into the quiz, what does it, or the quiz that links you to the exam, what does it look like? So this is what the page will look like once you're into the quiz. And I just wanted to look at what should we do to take the exam. So the first thing to realize is that you have 15 extra minutes in ProctorU. So right now, if I'm taking the exam, you might think you're wasting time, talking about things, but I'm not wasting time because I have 15 extra minutes to do all the setup part. So make sure you actually read these instructions right here. You have 15 minutes, you have plenty of time. They tell you to open up access to R. I want to do this during my extra 15 minutes, right? I don't want to do this once I've opened up the WebAssign link. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click this link to open Posit Cloud. I'm going to log in. So you'll log in as normal. Make sure that you have your password ready, right? Because in these lockdown browsers, you often don't have access to any saved passwords. So I'll log into Posit Cloud. Now, Posit doesn't always work. Sometimes it's overloaded for whatever reason. Sometimes it's slow. And this is extra possible, I guess, in the Guardian browser, which is not really optimized for Posit. So if you're having issues with Posit, I also recommend opening up this backup R access link, which will allow you to use R outside of Posit. I recommend, if you haven't done this, try this out. There's a link to it in the exam information page in Canvas. And if you check this out, you'll realize that you can really use this exactly like R. So I can enter, for instance, a data set. I made a mistake. I can copy and paste this, fix it. There we go. And I can create a histogram of this data set. It's a little different, but all the commands are the same. The layout's different. How you type stuff is a bit different. If you practice with it for a few minutes, I think it'll make sense. So you have two options for R. And so what I recommend is you open those up during this 15 minutes, right? This video has been going on for under 3 minutes right now. I haven't even come close to using the time that I have to get set up. So another thing I'm going to do while I'm here is I'm going to pull these tabs out. You don't have to do this, but I don't want to have to work in R and flip back and forth between R and my exam. So I'm going to pull these tabs out. So I pulled it off to the side and I let go, and it created a new tab. And I'm going to kind of layer these side by side, and I'll try to make it so that you can see this in the video. Now, make sure you don't open this in a separate monitor, right? The exam does not allow you to use a separate monitor. That is definitely against exam rules because I wouldn't know what you were doing there. But if you layer these side by side in the monitor, maybe overlapping, maybe not, you can see everything at once. And I'm actually going to drag, so I'm going to put these side by side, and I'm actually going to drag my backup R option over to here. I think that'll work. Yeah, so now I have my two R browsers in one place, and I have where I'm going to take the exam in the other place, and that'll make things a lot easier. All right, so once I've set everything up, I've read all the instructions. Now I click this WebAssign link, and I click Load Exam to a new window. And it says activity not available. I know why it says this, because I already attempted to sign into this. Okay, so if you had not already signed in, at this point you would see a screen to enter the password. So there's a screen asking you to enter the password for the exam. If you go back to the instructions, the password is listed here, and copy and pasting in these browsers doesn't always work. Just because of the nature of lockdown browsers, but you should still try to see if it works. I'm going to try to copy and paste this, so I'm going to Command C it. I'm on a Mac, and then I'm going to, if I had the password here, I would Command V it and click Enter, and that would take me into the exam. If copy and paste doesn't work, you'll just have to manually type it. All right, so at this point, if the activity were available, I'm filming this before the exam, it would take me into the exam and I would complete the exam. I would answer questions using R, either using Posit if I've logged in or using this backup option. With copy and paste, similarly for R, try to copy and paste things if that's working for you. But if your computer is not letting you copy and paste, then that might mean that you can't, in which case you'll just have to type them in manually. If you have your browser side by side like this, it's a lot easier to type things in manually. It's quicker and it's less likely you'll make a mistake. All right, so I complete the exam in WebAssign. When I'm done with the exam in WebAssign, there's no final submission button. As long as every question that you think you've entered correctly has a check mark next to it, you've successfully completed the exam. Make sure you've read the instructions. You get multiple attempts on certain questions. But once you're done with this exam in WebAssign, there's no submission button. Your score has been recorded. At that point, what you should do is go back to here and click Submit Quiz. This last step is just to kind of close everything down with ProctorU. So ProctorU knows that you're done with the quiz. It ends your session. And then at that point, you can quit out of the lockdown browser. Okay, so just a quick summary of what I think are the really important points. The first one is just use that 15 minutes you have. This video is now only 6 minutes in, right? The 15 minutes is a lot of time. Don't rush to click the link once you're in ProctorU. Read these instructions, open up R. I recommend setting it up as side-by-side browsers. Do this ahead of time. Maybe type in a few commands just to make sure things are working. Right? Once you enter the WebAssign exam, it's really hard for me to undo anything. But if you get into ProctorU and Posit's not working and you're freaking out and you never click the WebAssign link, you can email me. We can make that work. I can set it up for you, right? Because you still haven't seen the exam. But as soon as you open the actual exam, there's not a whole lot I can do, right? You just have to complete it. So make sure everything's working. Make sure R is working, that it's set up nicely. Then go to WebAssign. The password, again, is back here. So copy and paste or enter the password into WebAssign. Complete the exam. Make sure that you have check marks next to everything that you think is right. And so that you've submitted everything. Make sure you've used all submissions on things that you got wrong. If you got wrong the first time, go back, click the Submit Quiz button, and then you can quit out. All right, so hopefully that was helpful. Either as a reminder if you've taken an exam before in this course of what it's going to look like, or if this is exam 1 of the course, as a way to make you feel like you know what you're going to see once you get started in ProctorU.